to quickly spot production problems and improve productivity. We will see visual controls in use at Breed Technologies, a global supplier of passenger restraint systems. They've made visual controls a science, practicing it on the plant floor and in their offices. At Delphi Automotive, where visual controls have improved material handling and the way work is performed. At Donnelly Corporation, where visual controls have inspired new ideas from employees, increased efficiency, and saved time, effort, and money. And finally, at Ford's Romeo Engine Plant, where hourly people create their own visual controls with help from an on-staff visual factory specialist. Visual controls are used to communicate how a job is done, where inventories go, even exactly where to keep tools. Some visual controls tell employees the status of their machines, while others show machine locations. Time wasted looking for tools or materials can be eliminated with effective visual controls. Visual controls are a way to improve communication, enhance the factory environment, boost morale, and help manufacturing companies gain a competitive edge. Effective visual controls are simple but powerful. They make working areas user-friendly by answering questions, showing locations, and describing actions visually. Like highway signs or stadium seating directions, visual controls can help employees avoid wasting time. Some companies have found visual controls so helpful that they're even using them in office areas. Visual controls ideally begin with an improvement initiative called the 5 S's, which stand for 5 Japanese words that mean sort, stabilize, shine, standardize, and sustain. Sort means to organize an area, eliminating things that don't belong. Stabilize means to find a place for everything and to keep everything in its place. Shine is simply cleanliness. Standardize means to create conformity in each area of a plant with visual controls. And finally, sustain means to monitor and stick to all these rules. The 5 S's create an environment that is clean, organized, and comfortable, eliminating unnecessary items and organizing important equipment. Visual controls are neither expensive nor difficult to institute. They are effective and easily accepted because they make tasks easier. They provide information about the environment, the job itself, job performance, and safety. In fact, some employees have discovered time-saving solutions to everyday problems by using visual controls. Some applications of visual controls can serve as employee motivation. When goals for cost, quality, and delivery are met, people want to be in a group that performs well. Using visual controls promotes a workplace in which communication and employee involvement is encouraged. Consequently, employees better understand their role and eagerly contribute to the success of the company. Breed Technologies, located in Knoxville, Tennessee, is a global supplier of automotive occupant restraint systems and components. Breed started using visual controls in 1997 as part of their Visual Factory Management, or VFM system. Larry Husky, their quality systems leader, was charged with implementation.
And we had weekly meetings. We had representatives from each department, some of the people, either salary people or hourly people. And we listed a set of goals we wanted to have. We wanted to have commonality, and we wanted to develop a color coding scheme, which is very important in VFM.
Susan Dotson, their manager of product engineering, has been involved in developing visual controls in the engineering offices.
Well, the purpose is to make sure that everyone knows exactly what they need to do and when it needs to be done. And it eliminates the need for planners, tracking things individually on calendars, it's more concise and easy to read. We use color in the different applications. The color can tell us who the customer is, can tell us which program we're working on, who the owner is that's responsible for resolving any issues with a particular part.
They provide information to the employee that they can do their job and have less interaction with management, and they can readily look at some of the boards and see where they're at relative to their production rates and to their quality levels and how the company is doing overall as a whole.
Color is an important part of visual controls because it can make things easily recognizable. But pictures, drawings, large lettering, numbers, symbols, even electronic signs are all used.
Simple information is most effective. People are very busy. They don't have time to read a bunch of charts, go through a bunch of schedules. That's why the Kanban cards, the visual constraints cards, all of the 5S improvements we've made in the plant have helped us so much because it's so simple.
We're using electronic message boards, which are centrally controlled by a computer, where we can send messages at prescribed times throughout the different departments. We're using a lot of magnetic boards that can be written on, or we can put magnetic signs on them as well. We're using a thing called bin tags, where we identify each container as the next process is supposed to go to. It has the name of the process, and it's also color-coded.
Long before any signs are made, the process begins with the 5 S's. It's a necessary step that usually means a big cleanup for most facilities.
It's night and day. We were pretty much in total chaos. Within the factory, when you walked into the plant, material was everywhere. We had excessive inventory in all areas, and through visual management we've been able to reduce inventory drastically, improve quality. There's been many improvements to productivity. Basically it means a place for everything. The place should be labeled and everything should be kept in its place.
All information is posted where it is needed, not filed away in an office. For example, preventive maintenance or PM scheduling used to be overlooked before visual controls were in place.
You would have to go find the notebook, thumb through maybe 20 or 30 pages and make a review to make a determination. And now we have a VFM board that we developed here ourselves, and we actually can track by just simply walking by, we can see the status of the preventive maintenance activities on a particular piece of equipment.
The overall boards in the factory make it very visible for each area to see where their constraints are, what's going on with the andon lights. They know what's wrong with a particular process, whether it's down for maintenance, if it's down for a part.
The whole thought process is to get the information to the employees and to do it in such a way that that they can comprehend it and they also can retain it.
Despite some skepticism in the beginning, Breed employees have really gotten behind visual controls.
It gives them a sense of being a member of the team and to want to be able to make the metrics that are being tracked, to see them excel in those areas. So it gives them a sense of accomplishment.
Breed Technologies believes strongly in the effectiveness of visual controls. They see them as simple but effective ways to improve communication and include employees in the decisions that create customer value.
We've had dramatic gains in our delivery with increases of almost 30%, and we're very close to 100% at this time.
The Delphi Automotive Systems plant in Adrian, Michigan manufactures automotive components and interior systems. Visual controls are seen as an important part of a company-wide approach to lean manufacturing principles.
As the work group functions through the day, they don't need to wait for a supervisor to come back to tell them how they're doing or a report to be issued the following day. They can tell real time how they're doing as a group and respond to that. So they can make an adjustment in a lean atmosphere immediately so that you don't get the redundant defects or increased downtime.
Visual controls are about effective communication and empowerment for Delphi, giving decision-making ability to every employee. They want not only to ensure the involvement of all their employees, but to promote their timely decision-making as well.
You want to be able to walk into an area and tell by looking around what's going on without having to ask anybody. And you want those visual controls to be something that the operators can use and understand so that they can make decisions.
At Delphi, visual controls communicate pertinent information instantly to help eliminate mistakes. Despite the costs, Delphi believes the advantages of this kind of communication and empowerment go right to the bottom line.
We can see that very explicitly in our financial results here at this plant. There's been substantial improvement in those. There is some cost to build kiosks, information centers, time to distribute information, but the cost of doing those things is very, very small in comparison to the cost of not doing them. And you want to be able to walk in and know what's happening in the area just by being there. You don't want to have to search out a report or a supervisor or a manager to tell you what's happening. So we try and set a standard that the visual controls need to achieve and then turn the work group loose on determining how they work. Now, once we've done that a number of times, we've standardized that across the plant.
Visual controls and lean manufacturing are efforts to respond to growing competition. They change the way information is communicated, the way decisions are made.
The days when you could just pass directives down or write memos and expect that the workforce was going to snap to are largely gone, and we won't be successful in that environment. It takes too many managers to operate that way, and employees, frankly, are more educated, more intelligent, and really just won't tolerate it anymore. So if you're going to have a good employee base, you're going to succeed in the marketplace, you have to do this.
While external competition drives the need for lean methodologies, internal competition helps drive its implementation and the involvement of all employees.
After they had the training program, they broke them into teams by value stream and challenged each value stream to make the improvements that they needed to. We have a measurement system in our Delphi manufacturing system that allows us to score each independent element of how lean we are, whether the visual controls are in place, etc. So we created a little bit of a competitive environment on each value stream.
Delphi feels they've realized substantial benefits in most areas of their business by using visual controls.
Our inventories go down, our manpower requirements goes down, our quality improves, our health and safety improves, so we spend less money on employees who are off work with injuries. It creates a cleaner, neater environment. Employees don't mind coming to work. None of us want to work in an environment where it's greasy and smoky and dirty, and nobody wants to work in an environment where they don't understand what the objectives are or why the decisions that are being made. So my belief is it makes it a better place to work. It makes us more successful in the marketplace.
Visual controls are making positive changes in Delphi plants because of hard work and commitment.
Conflicts arise, people get discouraged, something you try doesn't work, and you take a step backwards. So there's lots of reasons why that make it difficult. But it's also very exciting because when you look back at the end of the year, you may be frustrated about the challenges you're facing now, but in a year's time, if you do it properly, a lot of gain has been made and people feel good about it.
Donnelly Corporation, based in Holland, Michigan, is a leading manufacturer of automotive mirrors, windows, and door handles. They are nationally recognized as a leader in the application of participative management principles, a system they call the Donnelly Management System.
We go out to the employees, we lay out a vision, and we educate them as to where we want to go and why we want to get there. And then we ask them to help us figure out how we're going to accomplish that. So the layout of the work cell, that's theirs. Every time I walk the production floor, I see something different because I had to let go. I had to give them the authority and the power. And once they realized that they had the authority and power, then they were now part owner in the whole process.
The key to effective visual controls is employee involvement. At Donnelly, visual controls changed the way the plant looks, employee attitudes, and productivity as well.
before we did the visual systems, every work cell was different. You didn't know what you would find in a work cell. There was no standardization. Now you can easily go from cell to cell, and you know where to find information, and you know what information will be there.
This is the model of DPS, and I spend a significant amount of my time, more so than I'd like, giving tours and leading benchmarking crews through. The morale here is better than in most of the other operations. They're continually getting their profit sharing bonus checks because they're continuing to perform better than planned. They're actively involved, they participate.
Good visual controls help to instantly identify problems, track production rates, and improve overall performance. In one case, a scale provides the visual control that tells when to refill a tank. The scales have reduced the time it takes to open the tank periodically just to measure its contents.
Visual controls are allowing us to very quickly react to any non-normal condition. It helps us identify when anything is out of place. Whether it's the 5S in the work cell, we can identify a component or a box of material that's not where it needs to be. A tool board that's shadow boxed, so we can identify a missing tool before it shuts down an operation. The performance hour by hour, minute by minute within the work cell, so we can identify whether we're running at the rate we need to.
We have our daily graphs that we do. We have scrap output and downtime graphs, and at the end of the shift, the operator fills in their graph and the amount of time or pieces that they had, and it's makes it very visual. If a group leader or manager walks through the area, they can see at a glance what the performance is of that work cell and any unusual conditions going on there.
Donnelly uses tacked time counters to stay on pace with production goals. They also use floor markings and tool shadow boards to identify material or tools that are out of place.
The on lights that we use, red light, green light, the machine is running or the machine is down. We've got a blue light that calls for materials. We're in the process of adding a yellow light that will be like a call for setup support or equipment maintenance people.
Donnelly built boxes to hold preventive maintenance or PM cards. Once each day, the operator checks to see what preventive maintenance needs to be done. Other visual controls help with planning for setups.
We have what we call a mold tool change board, that we have a Kanban card for every mold, and we have that laid out by days of the week, so the setup guys can look, and see during this week what tool changes will I have coming up. We have areas on the dock identified for, say, like engineering materials coming in or overflow materials.
Donnelly started with 3 key measures in each work cell: output, downtime, and scrap. They wanted to see trends and their progress. Then, using the 5 S's, they cleaned and organized the cells. Next, preventive maintenance was put in place to improve equipment reliability.
Then we needed to take it a little bit further and start to tie in the plant performance to the work cell performance. So that was the next step, is to get the team to actually own their performance measurements for the year. And once they owned them, then they felt more inclined to countermeasure and react to the results than when we were giving them the results.
Donnelly has shown some impressive results since implementing their visual controls and other Donnelly production system improvements.
Our labor productivity as a percent to production has improved by about 30%. Our quality has improved from 1,200 ppm down to 60 ppm at our customers. Our semi-variable has improved by about 20%, and our scraps improved in the facility across the street by, I think the number was 40%, and in this facility it was 150%.
At the Ford Motor Company engine plant in Romeo, Michigan, management provides guidance and supervision, but the actual controls and their development come from the people on the line. A full-time employee using computers, cameras, and printers then does the production of all their visual controls.
We found that who knows better how to do the job than the people that are doing it, and then they tell us when they need something to be corrected. They actually tell me if I've done something wrong.
Visual controls at Ford are designed to make jobs easier for the employees. This helps eliminate mistakes.
They take a lot of stress out of the employees that are trying to do the job by having something there that they can look at that shows them how to do the job and how to do the job properly. When we do a visual aid, we try to show how, in what order the job should be done, and that cuts back on the number of misbuilds and engines that end up going in repair bays.
The information communicated by visual controls enables a greater degree of independence for the workforce.
It gives them more control, a lot more control on their work environment, a little more control on what they get to do. They have more say-so in how things are put together and how things are done.
As Ford implemented the 5 S's, they had some pleasant surprises.
One of the processes is we call a red tag. What you do is you tag everything that's in the area that doesn't belong there, and then you take that to a red tag area. We found things in the building that were lost for 2 and 3 years. They were just laying somewhere behind a machine where it was left. And in the red tag process, we found those products and brought them back to use.
Visual controls can be more than just signs or instructions. Floor markings communicate a great deal of information about plant geography, inventory, and even safety.
We mark all our floors where things belong. That way, if something is marked and there's nothing on it, we know something's out of place. And we even mark the floors as far as where the employee should walk and the high-low shouldn't be driving. So that gives a little safety edge on us, too.
In a manufacturing environment as large as Ford, sometimes different people work different jobs. Ford's focus is directed at getting each job done right, no matter who is doing it.
We started adding a lot more digital photography into the visual aids, which now you know exactly what you're looking at and exactly how to hold it.
Ford Romeo's visual controls have improved engine quality.
I know that the company saves a lot in warranty rejects. We don't get nearly as many because we don't have the misbuilds, so in there's a lot of savings. And people going to medical because of ergonomic problems, we save a lot there. We don't have as many people with ergonomic pains, aches and pains, and we get better productivity out of it, better production. Morale's gone up because more people being able to have involvement in what they're doing on the job instead of being told what to do.
Decreased medical and ergonomic issues, increased productivity, and improved morale. These are the advantages that result from Romeo's visual control efforts. Visual controls are a simple, relatively easy methodology that has a tremendous effect on the manufacturing environment and the people who use them. Visual controls are an innovative method of providing information to employees in a very simple manner in order to improve communication. They are part of a process by which a work area can be cleaned, organized, and simplified. They are a step in a process toward the visual factory, in which information is openly and systematically shared to empower employees and increase productivity. Employee involvement is crucial to the success of visual controls, but the inherent competitive nature and appeal of the methodology involves people and makes the process self-sustaining. The benefits of using visual controls include a clean and safer workplace, decreased inventories, less wasted time, improved morale, and improved product quality.